Well, hello, everybody. It's Mark Yagi. Welcome to another weekly market pulse. Today is the 25th of July. Can't believe it's already July. Anyway, hope you're doing well. We've got another green market that just happened in the last couple of days. So we are rocking and rolling. Hopefully, you are making money. This has been a long melt up of a market. We had a little bit of a period here this last week where we went yellow, which means you should exercise caution. And it felt like it, didn't it? And now we're kind of back in the saddle where things look like they're melting up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Let's go into what we're talking about. And let's see, I guess you can see that here. All right. Whoops. Okay, so let's see what we have here. This was last week's market timing system. We had a couple of red lights. It created a yellow condition, so we were very cautious. But this week we got four green lights, and we are good to go. Now, it may not feel that strong because it's at the end of a long period of green. It's been like 3 months of green almost now. And so you've got to be careful because any day we could have a tweet or bad news or a bomb could go off somewhere and things could go, it could kick off the momentum down the other way. But right now, you can't argue with the trend. The trend is to the upside, even though we're getting a little bit weaker. But we don't try to guess the market. We try to play the probabilities. Right now, the probabilities are green. And here's why. There's the Nasdaq all-time high. Interesting, right? So look at this beautiful chart melting up nicely. All-time high. S&P 500 all-time high. Beautiful melt up on this chart all the way back from the lows in April. Dow Jones Industrial Average pretty good, but not quite at the all-time high. Just trying to get there. Probably needs another week or so if we're going to continue this move. We'll see what happens with the Dow. The New York Stock Exchange is at an all-time high, pulled back from a couple of days ago. But everything is kind of got confluence going to the upside right now. So you got to play it to the upside, until we're told to not, right? The VIX is going down, which is the panic index. So if you kind of flip this whole thing over, you see that this is the where you want to be, right? The money is coming off the sidelines. The panic is going into the market or coming out of the market, and the cash is going in the market. So that's good, right? And this is kind of a theme that we've had the last several weeks. The Dow Jones transports, the transports lead the Dow. The Dow leads the markets in theory, and generally when goods are moving around the country, the transports are good, and if the transports are good, that means the companies underlying and shipping all the goods are also in good shape as well. The gold index, this is kind of the hard asset index, right? It has been just textbook going up, some volatility on the way up, but this has been textbook, which means that, all right, let's look at it like this. If Jerome Powell is on the hot seat, and he had that really lousy interview yesterday where they were looking at the building and Trump kind of embarrassed him a bit. Like he should quit, right? He just doesn't want to quit. But everybody in the world is lowering rates except the US central bank. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But Trump, the guy that's going to appoint the next chairman, is like, he wants lower rates. Trump has always been a debt guy. He uses debt to finance real estate. He wants to use debt to finance the growth of this country. He believes he's right. He's going to bring in a dove. A dove is going to lower rates. Lower rates are going to spur the housing industry, spur assets to go up. That's probably what you're seeing in this gold and silver index. And if you're looking at Bitcoin over time, it's going up. And if you're looking at, well, housing's not yet because it's tied to interest rates, and those are high, but that'll change if we get a new Fed chairman in. Bottom line is we're going to continue to print money, guys, and we're going to be stuck with a lot of inflation. So prices of things are going up. It doesn't matter who's in charge, but things are really rough because we're going to have to print more money just to bail ourselves out of the interest payments from what we've already paid. Well, you guys know all this stuff. All right, Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. This is what's creating the semiconductor stocks to go up, like Nvidia and AMD and some of the other ones. That's also making the Nasdaq go up. That's creating a pull on everything else. So everything is kind of going up right now. Is it rolling over a little bit? We'll see. I don't think we can make that determination just yet. All right. Apple, like I've been saying for several weeks, Apple has done its down. Now it's doing its up, right? That's what it looks like to me. It still needs to get over that 200-day moving average, that black line. It's over the 50. It's got some constructive stuff going on, but it's kind of quiet. There's not a lot of volume, really going on. We'll see what numbers have to say in 6 days when Apple reports its numbers for the quarter. Plus, Apple's got, new phones coming out, probably coming out in September. Apple's got new computers. Like, there's a lot of things that could bring Apple a lot higher because this time of the year is when they announce all kinds of goodies. Tesla just had numbers yesterday, day before, and you could see this big drop, and now it's recovering from that big drop. So not a lot of problems with Tesla. It's just in a consolidation. I've been saying this for a while. It doesn't know whether it wants to go up or whether it wants to go down. Now, if you think about Tesla, they're a newsy stock and they're a very volatile stock. And what's going to bring them out? Well, they have to be thought about as something other than a car company. And it's because they're selling fewer, not fewer cars, but the growth is less. And so they're trying to transition into this robotics company, this AI thing, this self-driving robo-taxi thing. But people need to be shown the proof. And I think that's why you're seeing the stock bounced off the $300 level. It's trying to head back up. It's like 320 right now. But it's interesting, what's going on with Tesla. But it needs some news. It needs some kind of positive report other than what Elon says he may be coming out with possibly soon. Okay. MicroStrategy, another one that I know a lot of you are following. It's down on Bitcoin just over the last couple of days. There was a big whale out there. There's a lot of dilution going on in MicroStrategy, but you can't argue with this chart. This is a bullish chart, and it's still not at the all-time highs of 543, but it's back in the 400s for right now, and that's good for it. I think it wants to test the 397 on the 50-day moving average, if I had to guess, but we'll see. We'll see. It needs some Bitcoin love right now. All right, Nvidia, you can see this is just such a beautiful chart. Notice there's a lot of gaps on the chart. So you got to mind those on the way back down because gaps get filled. And so right now you're seeing a beautiful check mark to the right. Nvidia is in an early stage base. It's at an all-time high. It looks like it wants to go up, but when the market starts to shift, and it's not there right now, it's going to start selling off. Okay. Even the strong ones are going to sell off a little bit, but maybe more money will come into them when they finally bottom a bit. So Nvidia is leading us because it's in an early stage base and there's a lot of room left to run. It's the most valuable company in the world now. And they're doing a lot of great things, great leadership, great management. Palantir, on the other hand, is in a late stage base. They got earnings come up in a week and a half. You got to be careful going into these numbers, guys. Be safe, be in the money, be out of the stock. This stock is in a late stage base and it could correct. I like the stock. I'm in the stock, but I'm also cautious, and I understand there's a probability in a late stage base for a correction, and the earnings could tip it that way. So just be careful. Don't lose money if you can help it. If you've made a bunch of money on the melt up on Palantir, don't give it all back on trying to be a hero. Amazon, trying to go for that 242.52 all-time high. It's not too far away at 231. It looks like it wants to melt up, especially going into the fourth quarter here. Alphabet, kind of the same thing. I can't figure this one out because I think people are advertising less as search becomes less and less of a company's business. But Alphabet knows that that's happening. So they're no dummies over there. Got a golden cross happening right here. And the stock continues to melt up in this market. One more is Microsoft, another beautiful chart. Almost all green, blue candles all the way up since earnings a couple of months ago. Lots of good stuff. They got earnings coming up in 5 days. Apparently, they're just hitting it out of the park. And so if you're in Microsoft, you're a happy camper. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Remember, it's a green market. That means you should be in something. Make sure it's good quality. Don't get sucked in by the people that think they know more than you, because you're pretty smart too. And have a great weekend. I'll see you on the next Market Pulse next week. Take care. Bye.